Hello and welcome back to the section on security goals. Previously in this section, we have talked about identification, authentication and authorization. In this lecture, it is time to introduce another fundamental concept of security that is known as confidentiality, or also known as secrecy or privacy. And the threat that confidentiality mechanisms are meant to protect against is information theft. To understand it better, let's see what is happening in this scenario described here. From the past lectures, we are already aware of Nasir's job hunting activity. This discussion between a recruiter and Nasir is from the time when the recruiter has just confirmed Nasir's selection and he is informing Nasir about the details of the offer letter over internet. As we all know, internet is considered as insecure medium. There is a problem in the exchange of messages between recruiter and Nasir, and the sensitive data is prone to theft by the unauthorized person in between. There is loss of privacy and there is loss of secrecy to the unauthorized person. Now, how do we deal with this kind of situation where we cannot afford to lose the sensitive information or private data to the unauthorized parties? And to exactly answer this question, we are now discussing this topic, confidentiality. And the problem that we will be dealing with is mentioned here. The problem is how to protect the data from the unauthorized person when data is in transit and when data is at rest. When we talk about confidentiality, we are talking about preventing the message from unauthorized disclosure. This means that only the authorized individuals and systems should be able to view the sensitive information. Confidentiality is used to keep the data secret. We need to protect the data by implementing the confidentiality mechanisms if the data is valuable, and sending the message in clear text compromises the security in any form. Access must be restricted to those who are authorized to view the data. As a developer, we need to ensure confidentiality are designed to prevent sensitive information from reaching to the wrong people, while making sure that the right people should be able to access the data at any point of time. I'm sure most of you would have come across news in the media about data breach and leak of sensitive information as mentioned here. As we can see, MoviePass exposed thousands of unencrypted customers' card numbers. Marriott data breach exposed 5 million unencrypted passport numbers. 2 billion unencrypted records leaked in marketing data breach. And Facebook left hundreds of millions of user passwords unencrypted. Nearly all major security incidents reported in the media today involve major losses of confidentiality. So, in summary, a breach of confidentiality means someone gains access to the information who shouldn't have access to it. And the data breach has the potential to leak the customer's personal information, their credit card details, bank account transaction details, user login credentials, and other sensitive information that, if available to the public, it can compromise the security of an individual. Now, how do we ensure security to the data transmitted through the network? That is also considered as data in transit. Cryptography can be used to protect the information when transmitted through unprotected networks such as internet, and data encryption is a common method of ensuring confidentiality. But we should note that encryption is only needed when the data being transferred is actually valuable and is sensitive. Now, TLS protocol provides transport layer security. We will also see in the later sections how TLS protocol can be used to provide security at transport layer. Now, how do we ensure security to the data that is stored in this system? Again, data encryption comes to the rescue, and it can be used to ensure confidentiality is enforced when the data is stored in this system. The other method that we can use to protect the data at rest is access control mechanisms, where we selectively restrict the access to the resource. And the people who has access to the files and permissions to access the data can only view the data. Now we will see how encryption can be used to provide confidentiality by a simple diagram here. As we can see from the previous discussion, recruiter and Nasir is communicating over insecure medium, and the unauthorized person in between is trying to look for the information that is getting exchanged between the two persons. And we can see the plain text mentioned on the screen where recruiter has sent the information. Now recruiter wants to prevent this information to provide confidentiality. There is an encryption mechanism that will be used to transform this message, to obfuscate this message so that the message is not available in plain text form to any other unauthorized person. So when the unauthorized person tries to view the data, he sees only the scrambled data. As we can see here, after the encryption is applied on the plain text message, the message is obfuscated and it doesn't make any sense to the unauthorized person who is trying to steal the information. Now at the recipient side, there is another mechanism that is called decryption, which will be applied to the obfuscated message, and eventually the recipient will be able to retrieve the correct plain text message which is understandable and readable with the help of the key. So only the person who has the correct key can only decrypt the message, and he can understand it in the same format as it was sent. One thing I want to mention here is that the students don't have to worry about the encryption and decryption and all the details that I have mentioned here, because this lecture only deals with the cryptographic mechanism, that is confidentiality, and later in these sections we will deal with encryption, decryption and many more interesting topic in detail. So we can see how confidentiality is enforced here with the cryptographic mechanism, encryption and decryption, and hence that data is secured and data is still private between the two parties involved in the communication. Now moving on to the next slide, we can see what we will discuss further in the course that will be related to confidentiality. The first is cryptographic keys, encryption and decryption, encryption algorithms, symmetric key encryption, also known as secret key encryption, and the last, asymmetric key encryption and public key encryption. We will see how these details helps us to enforce confidentiality in the later lectures. So with this we reach the end of this lecture, but before I end the lecture, I want to summarize the concepts here that we have learnt before. Starting with identification. The identification process involves making a claim to identity, whereas authentication process involves proving that identity. Now once user is identified and authenticated, authorization techniques can grant access to resource, or it can block access to the resource after determining your ability to access the system. Finally, if the message payload is valuable and it compromises the security, then we make the message confidential by obfuscating it, but only if it has some value and we need to protect it. I would like to recommend all security professionals and application developers to get familiar with the concept that we have mentioned on the screen here, that we will also see in detail in the later lectures. So stay with us. I hope this lecture was useful to you. Thank you.